Hey friends. Hey guys, let me zoom us out. Yeah, I think. What's up guys? How are you doing? Happy welcome, all the good things. Happy new moon in Sag. Yay, let's celebrate. Okay. I really feel I'm definitely excited about this energy. And let me tell you, just because we closed, well, I don't want to say closed, but we experienced the full moon in Gemini in the last lunar cycle. I was waiting on the chart to load, you guys. Hold on. I want to also get us some incense. Well, I already have it going on over here. We've got, she's wafting over. I'm still stuck on this cinnamon candy, whatever it is with the sandalwood and all the good stuff in it. Smells so good. Listen, I love the energy of the opening of a new lunar cycle with the new moon in Sagittarius, with the sun in Sagittarius, with Mars in Sagittarius. We've got a nice, interesting trine type of vibe going on with Chiron and Aries. Is she going to load for me? Hold on, you guys. Here we go. I was in the process of loading the new moon chart as I was popping in to say hey to you guys. And my tablet is not cooperating with me. I really don't keep any large computers or anything, you know, I've mentioned before, like around the space as much as I can help it. I will occasionally pull up a chart on my smaller tablet off to the side. And I might have to pause you guys, or we're just going to wing it, because honestly, I've been doing private one-on-one bookings for the new moon anyway. And so I feel like I've pointed out. I was hoping to look at the degree mark. Where, because I was going to mention something about the degree that we were having this new moon. Yeah, anyway, it's really not cooperating with me at all, of course. We're not going to waste time on it. So yeah, I'm excited about this because I feel like I'm going to shuffle the cards too. I've been working with some oracle cards in the one-on-one work, and I like how that vibe has been flowing. So let me get out my Earth Magic Oracle, Stephen D. Farmer. If you work with me, you know these cards and you know how much I love them and how long I've had them. We already got a card sticking to the bottom of the box too. This new moon in Sag, this lunar cycle in Sag. What stuck to the bottom? No lie, can't make it up. It was like stuck to the bottom of the box. I had to shake it out. You know what though? I just noticed this one was stuck to the back of that one. So, isn't that like a Sagittarius? You think about the Temperance card, walk in the middle path. You know, we got a new moon in Sag, and we've got lake, stillness, fire, passion. Like, okay. But I like it. There's very much, I have a prominent Sag placement, and sometimes, forgive me, when there's like a lot of Sag, it's like the mutable energy of the fire in my brain just choo. It's, you know, super duper mental expansion, which is beautiful. I love the energy of a full moon in Gemini for inspiration and learning, and just I feel like our mental bodies are really receiving I want to say a lot of clarity. Removal of mental blockages. I've been encouraging everyone in one-on-one work to work with the energy of meditation in your mental body. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm going to pause you. All right. So sorry about that. So I was talking to someone in a private session, and it was this whole mental vision. Now, the rundown is that, of course, the sun and the moon are obviously both in Sagittarius. We also have Mars in Sagittarius. Mercury has moved into Capricorn. Mercury will start its retrograde journey, I think it's tomorrow. We have the 12-12 energy portal and numerology, kind of like a portal gate, if you will. And I heard someone kind of speaking about the fact that it's like the 3, the 6, the 9, and then if you get into numerology, you follow, right? 1 plus 2, the 3 and the 3. Okay. So it's like this whole, I want to use the word convergence. But it's also, it's like we need the stillness and the patience of Mercury and Capricorn to kind of help us receive. I don't want to say, to each their own, of course, take that as you will on your own spiritual and, evolutionary journey, right? I don't want to say, you could definitely say keys, right? When you think of Chiron, the key, obviously in astrology, you think about the glyph, right? I think Chiron in Aries is playing a huge part in this, in this lunar cycle. Gregorian calendar wise, we could call this kind of officially the last new moon of our calendar year. Of course, if you follow the wheel of the year, that's a little bit different. And of course, if you follow the flow of the zodiac, some people could even say, technically, we have so many. Okay, I get it, right? Let's agree, there's so many different ways you could view it. But for the sake of a Gregorian calendar, right, we could say this is the last new moon of this official year. So it's appropriate to me that we have fire with passion, but also lake with stillness. And again, it immediately makes me think about the fact that the Sagittarius card in the major arcana is temperance, which is encouragement of like walking a middle path. But we were having, we were rolling with this whole analogy, right? And talking about, Lord bless all the guides and ancestors. Y'all give me some patience, because why? Okay. Well, you know what? It's not meant to use the tablet today. Okay. Mercury retrograde said, hey. No, listen, I kid. I don't really get a lot of electronic issues and stuff like that during the retrogrades, but it did make me chuckle. Here is what we were talking about, is the fact that, when we shift into Sagittarius season, I think it's beautiful. We will be in Sagittarius season, 9 more days till the 21st, right? Once the solstice is complete. And again, the analogy plays here as well, because it's the shortest day and the longest night. You get this whole feeling, it's like you can maybe view it as a phoenix rising that dives down to the bottom of the ocean to rescue you out of that darkest pit of that place, right? Or maybe some would say Archangel Michael with like a flaming sword, or I'm sure you could get, in whatever way you view Sagittarian energy. You could maybe use Thor, even like, right, whatever archetype, however your spirit team, your guide, your team and higher self will show you that archetype so that you can relate. It's very interesting because you get this mental picture. And it's funny too, because we have lake, a body of water, a stillness, the fire and the passion that's going to kind of catapult you up. And yet you still, it's like holding that stillness, right? Okay, so I was explaining this image where it's like we're being pulled up, right? And it's like, whew, you're shooting up, you're coming from up for air. We kind of talked about that visualization in the Gemini full moon. But with this energy, it is also very much, I see things sometimes very visually, and so I try to articulate that. It's almost like a parable to what the energy looks like as opposed to what's happening in the astrological chart, right? So I was also talking to someone in a reading about, it's as if, and I was joking, I was like, I feel like I'm leading someone through a yoga pose, okay? Shout out to yoga and body movement, all forms. But the way that Sagittarian energy wants to free your mind. Very Jupiterian, let's expand. But in the abundance of wisdom, if we choose to expand that, it's like having the right lens to focus, very powerful, mutable, I'm going to flow on the best, the easiest path. I'm going to let things unfold as I experience them. There actually is kind of a stillness in the middle of what you might feel like is a waterfall of fire rushing over you. You imagine, right? Like Archangel Michael's got you. Whew, we blast it up, right? We're rising, we're rising, we're rising. And then in this other description I was explaining to her, it's like, I don't know all the pose names, so I ain't even going to try it, y'all. But you hold your arms out, and it's like you imagine Artemis or Diana, and it's the archer energy. The piece of art, and it's like Diana, or you can interchange Artemis, however you view that, is shooting the bow, and it's like this arch of this crescent moon. And this image, I'm talking about, the arrow is shooting up and out for expansion and for growth and all these things, right? It's very much energy moving. I would say, imagine that arrow has its pinpoint at your solar plexus. Y'all, what am I thinking of? The reels where it's like, do-do-do-do, da-da-da-da, and it's like correcting so this is what I'm seeing. And it's like the energy is raising your chest, right? And then it's moving up. Okay, I'm trying to make that sound, but you get what I'm saying? It's moving up from the solar plexus through the heart chakra. It's magnified out because your heart chakra is your stargate into your auric field, right? And then it moves up through the throat. Third eye crown chakra, you imagine is being lit up. Maybe you're folding your arms open. It's like your posture is being corrected. The video too, Spirit is showing me is like where they're playing basketball and the friend comes by and he tilts up his chin, right? It's also like, and your chin's being tilted up and Spirit is like saying onward and upward, and this big arrow is just shooting up. And we're having this expansion out through the crown chakra, which unfolds like this 1,000-petaled lotus. And there you find, of course, your tiny personal little sun. And so it's this movement of energy, which I also find as I was describing this to someone as to what this new moon energy in this chart feels like to me. It's like refocusing. It's as if your arrow that's bringing you into alignment is recentering your posture with your truth, and it's like a friend and I were having this conversation about the difference between like Captain America and Iron Man, and we were joking and talking about astrological signs and whatnot. Hold on one second. Let me close this door, you guys. Or else the dog will come invade the space. And it was very, very interesting because it's kind of like, are we going to have an adventure? There's not going to be any shortage of energy in Sagittarius season. It's where it's optimism, it's spontaneity, it's adventure, it's things like this, but it's also being in alignment, seeking mental expansion, but making sure that as you hold space for all these things, which are very powerful, right? I mean, hey, shout out Sagittarius, okay? And our Aquarians, we love our Sagittarian energy, all right? Is very compatible together because we understand the same things about, freedom and expansion and being authentic to your truth. If you grab onto the coattails of a Sagittarius, I'm going to guarantee you're not going to have a boring time. That's going to be one thing, right? First of all, we're not going to be bored. That's not going to be the case. But it's almost a matter of, once again, it's like, what are you going to do with it? Right. And it's this very interesting experience in this new moon chart because I do want to redirect our attention. We're talking about correcting posture, the archer, the arrow shooting up from the solar plexus and moving up through the chakras in alignment and coming out eventually out of the crown. Or maybe you could expand that farther out and say out of the soul star chakra, right? However you view that in your own mind's eye. It's like, but now Spirit is showing me, it's like, imagine you're standing on a dial below your feet though, right? And you have sacred geometry and you're trying to make sure like, okay. And it's like, there's a big compass behind you and Spirit and, maybe your astral team, your ancestors, whatnot, are trying to say, okay, we're trying to give you, just have patience with us. All right. This is very much like, let's say you've received this arrow shot up through the mental body, the emotional body. I'm really focusing on the mental body because that's how I'm feeling it. But of course, I myself have a lot of a majority air, but a lot of fire in my chart as well. So how you experience this new moon in Sagittarius, what will be at its peak, I think Eastern time will be like in the evening. It's like 6:30 or something here at Eastern time in the Northern Hemisphere. But how you experience this energy is really going to be telling according to, what your energetic makeup is. Do you have a lot of water? Do you have a lot of earth? Do you have a lot of, you get what I'm saying? It will also, excuse me, it's always interesting to consider on any new moon and full moon to see where the degree point that it's occurring falls, like what house in your charts. That's an interesting way to look at it too. But we also have two things to note. We also have Mars in Sag, and it's kind of the way that it's moving is like trailing behind the sun. So it almost feels like, this is the way I see it in my mind's eye. It's like if you called upon, we're going to work with the image of Artemis or Diana, the huntress, right? I think it's super appropriate Sagittarian energy. You said, all right, come on. And I'm not at a crossroads point anymore. I've been shown the vision. This could be, mind you, creative, business, soul purpose, personal evolution, whatever the vision is, I'm going to pipe on and on. I've done it in other videos. I won't do it today, but Sagittarius season and winter are so important for vision work in whatever areas you've received inspiration. Because listen, hear me out. All right, right? Sun and moon in Sag. So sun and Sag, we're in Sag season. We have the new moon in Sag. This is the type of energy that's like, I'm mutable fire, right? Like I'm about to be a river of beautiful iridescent fire. We're going to flow on down this path. And however way it pans out, hey, we're going to have a great adventure. It's going to be an experience, right? Okay, but if all we ever did was anchored ourselves in a bunch of Sag-like energy all the time, I don't know if the results are really going to be so helpful all the time, right? We might end up making a lot of messes and being like, whoop. I mean, because you have to have moments where you reflect in wisdom and you make different choices, right? Okay, so with Mars also in Sag, it's like you have this team of, maybe you say knights or whatever it is behind you, right? So you call on Artemis and you're like, Artemis energy, divine archetype of the quiver full of arrows, come on out, clear my path, give me mental clarity. If something's in my path and it's not for the highest and best good, shoot it down. And then it's kind of like this Mars energy is behind us, kind of pushing us forward a little bit. Pushing us. It can be great, but it can be not so great if we're not, what is Spirit saying? Looking, I don't know, through the right glass, through the right glasses, through the right mercurial perspective, right? So Mars will help us. It's kind of like, also Spirit is showing me, it's like someone walking behind you, like, all right, let's fill up the gas, putting a little more gas in your tank, right? This is how this energy feels. But it's very important when you understand in this energetic chart, also Chiron in Aries is a very important note of reflection. It's like, if I know I'm going to be gassed up, right? And I know we're going to flow forward. We have no problem channeling that energy from the collective right now. Okay. I've got to remind myself, what the healing of my wounds this entire year has really taught me, because there's a big vibe in this lunation, in this, in this lunar cycle, leading us up to the winter solstice point. There's a lot of different energies that are, and we could kind of touch on so many different things in this chart, but, it's this energy of saying, we're learning from our mistakes. It's almost like grabbing the Sag by the shoulder and that Mercury in Capricorn. Because listen, as a side note too, we also have Venus in Scorpio. I don't think she's changed yet. Again, my tablet's not cooperating. I don't have exact dates in front of me, because the Venus in Scorpio can also kind of be wanting to either gas up the tank with, let's go out and feel some passionate pleasures, or it can be gassing up the tank with a little bit of shadow light. It could be easy to kind of be tempted. Spirit is saying, not if we're not reflecting in wisdom, if we're not rooted and grounded in the right place, and be very tempting to just gas me up, just gas me all the way up, just gas it, gas it. Venus and Scorpio have us out here maxing out credit cards, buying and eating and pleasures, and it low key coupled with all this Sag energy, you can be like, kind of like a fuck it, let's just do it. And hey, listen, we all have free will. Everyone's soul contracts, their destiny, all these different things. Sometimes we have periods in our life where we will just be like, hey, let's just gas it up. It's going to be a great time, right? And we have those moments. And sometimes we have wonderful experiences. We create great memories. Some would argue, well, you're a divine spirit, but you contracted to come down here on the greatest place called Earth. If we gonna learn lessons, like, let's go all out, right? You see what I'm saying about this Sag energy? And listen, all I'm saying is I'm not judging that. But that's why the Sag is the temperance card. We got to temper that Sag, right? I do want to read these oracle cards, but there is something with, we've shifted into the point where we have our North Node in Aries and our South Node in Libra. We are understanding this is who I am in reference to, for example, this is how other people see me. Or there's also this dynamic going on, especially with heightened, a lot of mutable fire energy in the collective chart right now. It is like, who cares? Gas me all the way up. I am, to the point that the ego maybe gets a little heavy. And, Aries fire and Sagittarius fire were a little bit different. But there's a lot of notes that would encourage us to reflect on who do you know yourself? And if you know yourself, and of course, this is always a process of unfolding. That's the whole point of evolution. If you ever get to a point where you stagnate and you just be like, yeah, I know it all, you're not really evolving. But beside the point, I want to expand in the wisdom of the fact that I do know myself, Spirit is saying. The fact that I have been through, you could say karmic cycles, you could say life lessons, you could say different. See, I've been through some shit, right? Like I got the t-shirt. I could sit down and tell a lot of stories. Okay. But this time, something about that Chiron in Aries, right? This time it's like in our expanded state of mental clarity. Spirit is saying we do have a beautiful window here. We can call on our guides, our ancestrals, our you could say galactic team. You could say light body, however you do that, your angels, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your team in higher self. Maybe you say your monad, however you want to do that, right? We have a great ability right now to call upon, it's like a waterfall of light, to kind of flow all through the mental body to remove blockages. And in that way, it's like, we can allow that Mercury and Capricorn energy to kind of help us. Okay. And this is where me and my friend got into this place, right? We had this conversation about, well, Captain America, sometimes like maybe he misses opportunities because he just doesn't act. And then it's like, well, Iron Man, I mean, he's just crazy. And you could argue that maybe his shadows and his father wounds are just driving him and he's irrational. Sometimes he doesn't think it through and he's very selfish. He's not utilizing all. Okay, so Mercury and Cap, we were talking about, it's like Captain America assembles the team, right? He's learned in wisdom. He has kind of that humility about him and he's patient. It's very much this energy like, yeah, I know our gas tank is full. Okay, yes, I see the path ahead of us. Absolutely. Okay, but the timing needs to be right. Right. Okay, but see, we need to make sure we're viewing the map through the right scope of wisdom and the patience. Like we can really nail the timing if we punch the gas at just the right moment, right at the right opportunity. It was just an interesting conversation that we were having, talking about why there are many times in your life. Yes, all right. It's probably a bunch of Leos or some Aries out there, love and light. Okay. I love y'all all. And I got those notes in my chart too. Okay. My Mars is in Aries, so I feel you. My Leo rising. So Yes, we do need this, like, what's the point of being human? Like, yeah, I get it. Okay, but sometimes I do just want to punch the gas. Yes, 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 I get that. But it's about balance. It's temperance. It's a path of moderation. We also need times where we sit down and what me and my friend were saying, our Captain America vibes, we put on our hat of wisdom, Mercury and Capricorn, Chiron and Aries, and saying, thinking about these healing cycles you've been going through. Do you really want to pull the trigger? And it's not saying, some people may say, are we wasting the moment? Not really. I think that if we gas our fuel tank up, the gas ain't going to go nowhere. We're just waiting for the right time, the wisest time, the smartest time, when certain degree of elements all come together, and then we punch the gas, right? That's why I always encourage people to do excellent vision work in Sagittarius season, in the winter, when we are collectively getting quiet and there is a stillness, especially when we move into Capricorn energy. But Mercury is already ahead of us in that Capricorn energy. It's almost, hello, stillness, lake and stillness, fire and passion is saying, still the mind. You know what I'm saying? Neptune going direct in Pisces can say, what is time anyway? Still the mind. You're not going to lose any gas, but this may be a moment and a time in your life. We've done, I'm going to tell you, 2023, the 7th year ruled by the Chariot card, we've done so much work on healing, repairing, growing, evolving our emotional bodies, the vibrations of the energetic frequencies in our water in this vessel. We've done all this work, right? Okay, so what may not be best for us to do, and to each their own, we have free will. Yes, all of our purposes are different. Love and light, you follow your guides and your intuition, right? You are your own guru. Okay, hello. Now that we've got all that out of the way, listen, there are times where and here's how I see it too. Is this whole image of, while that archer's arrow is shooting up from the solar plexus, up, 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 and out, expanding through the crown, right, reaching up to the soul star chakra. I also see Mercury preparing to go retrograde tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Sorry, don't quote me on that. Is like you've received everything and you're in this position. So maybe, I don't know, pick, what are you, sacred geometry, right? I think everybody knows what the flower of life looks like. So imagine you're kind of, you're being sat down on this disc, right? Are we losing the fire and the passion? Absolutely not. I mean, fuck, it's time anyway, right? But I'm super Aquarian, so don't ask me. Mercury in retrograde, with Mercury in Capricorn, is going to kind of start doing evaluations, like it's spinning around the body, it's going around the mental body. It's almost like your galactic team is in the astral realm and the different dimensions saying, let's tweak this adjustment. Okay, well, they can't see over here that we're sorting this opportunity out over here. All right, well, we get it that you're super gassed up and that your mind is expanding. Okay, but let's hold on, because we're setting the timing up over here, and it's like, we're making repairs. And then it almost makes me think of, what is it? Not to throw back to Iron Man, but how, when he's getting suited up, he needs to wait and be patient. And his little robot is like, is doing all these things, right? But if he flies off too soon, I don't care how much gas he has, because he's missing a whole part of his suit. You get what I'm saying? I think you get what I'm saying. So I think Mercury retrograde is going to be helpful. It's almost like we need to make the best use of certain opportunities. But I think it's absolutely important to make space for the Sagittarian energy, because it is very refreshing. It is very, let's open up to the inner child. The fire signs love to remind us to do that. The fire energy is very much like, it's just important that we have balance with it. For example, the holiday season and however you observe it, you can go out and actually do a lot of things, but you don't have to max your credit card, right? You can go to a dinner, but you don't have to go full 9. You don't have to go to every single toxic environment where maybe you want to abstain from drinking. Maybe you want to, that some families, and it's really, you're not in a healthy, healed place where you need to be around certain levels of toxicity and everything, right? So you don't have to go to every gathering, right? And maybe you're in the spirit of just wanting to be giving. Well, instead of maybe maxing out your credit card, Venus and Scorpio, you could, I was telling someone in a different read, like you can clean out your closet, you can go and donate things. You can still channel the same energy, but it's like you can do it in a more healthy way that's more wise, that is a better channeled outlet, okay? And I still will encourage you, if you're trying to flow with the collective energy, working smarter, not harder, again, the more and more it's like, oh man, I'm just feeling the muse. Like I want to learn everything. I'm being really inspired. Okay, make a vision board. Create a Google Drive, like make a folder, make notes, start collecting everything, stoke the vision. The more that you're going to be connected to the passionate inspiration, maybe the vision is your body for next year. Maybe it's a creative goal for next year. Maybe it's, oh, I'm going to take the trip next year. I don't care. Life is short. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Maybe it could be so many different things. In this energy, though, I will be willing to wager heavily that you will be feeling super inspired. Right. And then again, with Mars and Sag, just going to be like, gas it up. You know what I mean? So we do need to be grounded. We need to be well rooted in purpose. That's going to be the wisest way to go forward. But I mean, what am I going to say? I'm Leo rising. I'm not going to say, I'm Mars is in Aries. I'm not going to sit here and tell you don't have a good time. Like nobody needs to be having a good, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm just saying there's a way to be balanced about it. Right. So I do love this energy. I think Mercury retrograde will be interesting, but I think it will be very healthy. It will be a very healthy way to kind of anchor and ground down into the body through the mental body. A lot of inspiration, a lot of muse energy, a lot of, Spirit is saying kind of spiritual epiphanies. Sagittarius is actually a very philosophical, very spiritual, very truth thinking, truth seeking, energetic chord. So I know that our mental bodies, our minds, they're going to be very active. And so we do want to be grounding that down. We do want to be having healthy channels, physical activity, and just different ways to channel that, right? Because what's going to happen is if you don't pop off and channel that and you're feeling all this energy, especially if you have like a lot of fire notes in your own energetic signature, is you're just like, well, I'm just going to sit in the house. That's not going to go well. And then you're going to swing way over into the shadow side and you're probably going to go out and do. And then before you know it, you're going to wake up as January 2nd and you can be like, fuck me. Right? Wait, did I make a karmic cycle again? Shit. Like, oh, now I got the credit card bill. Oh, or, I told myself it wasn't going to be a toxic holiday. And now I'm fighting with, my sister and my cousins and them, or I done went out with my ex and from the party. And you get what I'm saying? And this is the nature of kind of saying, well, I'm going into 2024. I've got these messes to clean up. We can choose differently, Spirit is saying, right? Chiron and Aries. Look back at some of these other cycles that you've been through. Use those keys. Let the keys be integrated in through the mental body so that you can, I don't know, Spirit is saying, put on your Capricorn glasses. And everybody's like, oh, I love you, Capricorns, by the way. I have Capricorns in my life. Let me tell you right now, I need every one of them. Woo, because they ground me and they're not about no shit and they don't have 1,000 words to say and they mean business and they don't mind waiting. Ooh, I love it because it's so opposite of everything that I am, right? I love it. But, sometimes the signs will be harsh on Capricorn energy. Talking about, oh, it's holiday season. Don't nobody want to put on no Capricorn glasses right now. But listen, it's good for us, okay? And again, it's the middle path. It's temperance, right? So I'm excited to see, I'm going to tell you anytime we're preparing for Mercury retrograde, hello, don't let your ancestors and your higher self, your team and spirit, your guides, let them work on your behalf in the name of divine interception, okay? We're always going to be mindful of that. Plus, we're over here trying to ground out all this energy anyway. Don't be, ooh, what a combination. Spirit is saying, what's our time mark? Oh, what a combination, because you know what? Venus and Scorpio, Mercury about to go into retrograde. We got all this gas me up Sag energy. That is just a recipe for, if you haven't been working on your shadows and your healing journey and knowing yourself, and Venus and Scorpio, valuing yourself from a healthy place of passion and not a dark, I really have been dealing with none of my shadow work place of passion. Okay, because listen, add it up. Like, this energy could go south really quickly. All right. Do not answer that DM. Do not respond. Do not, Spirit is saying, do not pass go. Do not get to collect $200. All right. Anyway, let me get off the soapbox. I love both cards that have come out. I'm going to read from Stephen D. Farmer's book because nothing really needs to be added. They're beautiful as they are. Let's read fire first. All right. And again, let's look at, this is our fire card. Oh, we have a little orb there. Is that reflecting off the camera? That's interesting because I don't have anything lit in the background. Anyway, interesting. Fire, passion. Since the dawn of humankind, we've been fascinated by fire. As soon as early humans were able to make fire, it changed our lifestyle dramatically. Through its capacity to generate heat and light, fire made it possible to cook food, to stay warm in cooler climates, and to keep predators away at night. And of course, that huge furnace called the sun is the spark of life here on Earth, bringing not only the necessary warmth of this incredibly huge ball of fire, but also the life-giving rays of light emitted by that fire. In this card, a man is enacting an ancient ceremonial fire dance, originating from Samoa, at one time performed to ignite the passion of warriors before battle. Fire can inspire other passions as well. We speak of being on fire or catching fire. You know, you thought about her dress, don't lie. These phrases signify that we possess an intense desire or enthusiasm for something. No wonder that passion has come to be associated with fire. What are your passions? What turns you on? What ignites the inner flame, the creative spark? When you feel devoid of passion, consider what is missing in your life. It is most likely an absence of fire in your belly, something that makes your heart beat faster and quickens your breathing. Passion is not only something that comes from the outside of you, but also, wait, I skipped a whole line, I'm sorry, that comes from the outside of you, although some events and circumstances can trigger it. It is also an intensity of feeling, whether quietly experienced or enthusiastically expressed. Passion can simply be a strong feeling, or the sensation itself can be so powerful it motivates you to act. This is too often associated with exclusively sexuality. I was going to make a comment. There's so many different ways to channel from the sacral. It doesn't have to be sex, okay? Sorry, lost my place. This is too often associated exclusively with sexuality, which is certainly one way of experiencing, yet it limits its meaning and demeans the broader possibilities. Open yourself to the truth of what you're passionate about and find a means to express it, right? Again, healthy channels. We can release pent up fire-like energy through creative outlets, through physical activity, through grounding time in nature. We need those electromagnetic currents. No, I'm not going to go on about it today. Thank you very much. Healthy outlets for that. And also vision work. If you feel passionate right now, but you want to be wise in the timing, you want to flow with the way the wheel of the year and the collective energy flows, utilize that for inspiration, making vision boards, Pinterest boards. I mean, making a folder where you're writing down your ideas. That way, when it's time for that, let's hit the go on the gas, then you'll be prepared to utilize all of the vision work you put in. Do you know what I mean? And then in early spring, you'll be like, oh, I'm already ahead of the game. I'm about to make a concrete plan. And then when we hit gas, it's going to be like boom, boom, boom. You're going to make the best, most efficient use. You're going to have maybe the best, most efficient team. You're going to have, you know what I'm saying? You get me. All right, let's read Lake as well, because we need both. We really do need both right now. Y'all say the alphabet in your head sometimes? Hold on. Okay. Lake, stillness. The subdued pastels of the early morning light quietly announce that the night is over and the sun is rising. The lake itself hasn't awakened from its rest and remains still and undisturbed. It welcomes the coming day, ready to respond. See, stillness, undisturbed. I know everything is waking, but I'm ready, okay? It welcomes the coming day, ready to respond with grace and fluidity to whatever currents and movements appear in its belly or upon its skin. The surrounding vegetation thrives from the abundant water near the shoreline, and the unoccupied boat lies in wait for its next passenger. All is at rest in the scene. It's in the deep internal stillness that we find our being and come to know that we are intimately united with all of creation. To achieve this mindset, we must slow down once in a while and get away from the surroundings that interfere and distract from our inner tranquility. When we do this, profound stillness will be available at all times, regardless of the environment. Yes, because that's the lens that we want to project those passions through, right? You want to send it through the right lens, send it out the right stargate. We don't want to be sending it all wonky and sideways, because then we're just going to shoot off course and we waste our gas, okay? It's in the deep internal stillness that we find our being and come to know that we are intimately united with all of creation. To achieve this mindset, we must slow down once in a while and get away. Okay, we read that. When we do this, the profound stillness is available at all times, regardless of the environment. We can experience this sensation with steady, conscious breathing, or we can simply pause for a few moments and be still. This is so applicable during the holiday season. Again, no matter how you approach it, what your view is, what you celebrate, even if it's a pagan earth base, there's Yule, there's dinners, there's sharing. Okay. I would argue, though, that if you're observing like Yule and the earth based view, it's definitely a lot slower. But we can all understand the energy of needing to maybe slow shit down a little bit during the season, right? The tempo of life these days has sped up considerably, and there seems to be no end to the quickening pace. Immersed as we are in the technological whirlpool, there seems no escape. However, there is no need to be a prisoner to the hurry-up syndrome, nor is there a need to feel trapped by the awareness of the collective intensities that massive numbers of humans are experiencing these days. I'm sure we can all relate to that. It doesn't take long, to look out and understand that. No matter if the noise from your environment or your seemingly nonstop thinking, it is critical for you to seek stillness. Find it in your world, whether it is a special place in your home or a place in nature that is far from human-made noise. Of particular importance is finding it inside yourself, which can be made easier by being in a quiet place in a natural setting. Doing so not only relaxes your mind, but it heightens your awareness and senses. Yes. So I'm going to leave it here, you guys. I hope that this new lunar cycle in Sagittarius brings you a lot of mental clarity, a lot of inspiration. And I do hope you have some adventures. I do hope you have fun. I mean, I'm going to go do it, but let's remember that we don't want to repeat cycles from the past. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know about you, but I don't really want no other karmic cycle t-shirts. Okay, like I'm good. Let's do Dharma. Can we do Dharma? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and your holiday season, however you observe it. I hope you enjoy December. And thank you for hanging out and listening today. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Bye.